Today we are talking about the chromatic scale, which is the most important scale in music because it contains all the notes. The reason it's a scale is because they're in order. Otherwise, it's just all the notes in music. Okay, the first thing you need to know is what a half step is. A half step is the shortest, smallest interval in this system of music that we are describing, the one with this chromatic scale. So if you see I'm going from this F to this F sharp, there is no note in between those. I'm going up by half steps. This is the shortest distance I can go at a time. Now I'm going down by half steps. If there is a note in between, for example, if I go from this G to this A, this note is in between. This is a whole step. All right, it's made up of two half steps. A half step on the guitar is one fret. So I'm going up by half steps right now. Now I'm going down by half steps. Those are half steps on the guitar. The chromatic scale breaks down into three basic components. One, you need to know the musical alphabet. Two, what are sharps and flats? And three, what are the natural half steps? The musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then starts over again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Same thing going down that way. There's no H. It just goes A to G and starts over. So that's the musical alphabet. Pretty simple. Sharps and flats. So sharps, which look like either you could say a number sign or a hashtag, tic-tac-toe, that is a sharp. It's basically a modifier. So let's take A, for example. This is an A. A sharp is right here. A sharp says, whatever note I'm next to, go one half step up, higher. So this, you can hear the notes are getting higher as we go this direction on a piano. If we go this direction, the notes are getting lower. All right. So this is A. This is A sharp. One half step higher than A. This is C. This is C sharp. One half step higher than C. This is D. One half step above D is D sharp. This is F. One half step higher than F is F sharp. Here's G. This is G sharp. We're back to A again. You see how it looks the same? We have these two groups of black notes right here. This A looks the same in comparison to those three black notes. So here's A sharp. Flats are very similar in that they are a modifier and they change the note by a half step, but they flatten the note, which means they take the note down one half step. So if this is D, this is D flat, one half step lower than D. This is E, this is E flat. This is G, G flat. This is A, this is A flat. Now you've probably noticed that this note right here, I've called it C sharp. I've also called it D flat. That's absolutely correct. All of these black notes, or accidentals they're called, have two names. This is C sharp. It's also D flat. This is D sharp. It's also E flat. This is F sharp. It's also G flat. This is G sharp, also A flat. This is A sharp. It is also B flat. So they have two names. The last thing you need to understand, and this is probably the most important because it's not as intuitive, notice how there is no black note in between B and C or E and F. These are called natural half steps. There's a half step there without any type of sharp or flat. This is just B and C. This is E and F. This is extremely important because if you forget this, you might go A sharp, B sharp, C. Now you're one off and you're going to get another one off here. So that's super important. Once you've understood sharps and flats and the natural half steps, you can find any note on the piano if you just know one note. Like let's say you know this is C, and I ask you to tell me what this is. You can always count up. C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. Now you know that's a G sharp, otherwise known as an A flat. The same thing on the guitar. So if you start with the knowledge of the names of the strings, which is really important, E, A, D, G, B, E, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie is a good one. Then you start from there and you use your knowledge of the chromatic scale to find any note. So here we are on E. We know that if we go up a half step, that's going to be an F, because there's the natural half step, E to F. One more is F sharp. Another one is G. Here's G sharp. Now here's where the guitar gets slightly weird compared to the piano. Here's an A, 5th fret, but also the next open string is also an A. So you have a choice. It kind of splits. There's more than one way to play the exact same note, which is not the case on the piano. So I just always teach my students, go to the next string when possible. We're trying to learn one octave. So here's A sharp, B, C, there's your other natural half step, C sharp. Now we can go D here, but we can also go D here. Eddie ate dynamite. So you go to the next open string when you can, and then we got D sharp and E. Notice I'm saying sharps to make it easy, but of course this D sharp could be E flat. This C sharp you could also call D flat, etc. So this is one octave from E to E, and then it starts over. So this is the first thing I teach my students so they can do the roots only method and they can play tons of songs playing all the roots. So if you know the chromatic scale, you know the names of the strings on the guitar, and you know that each fret is a half step, that unlocks your fretboard, meaning you can find any note on the guitar. You can also look at anything that you're playing that you already know how to play, and you can figure out what notes you're playing, which I suggest very strongly. Any chord you play, even a D chord, G chord, C chord, what notes are you playing? Just look at them. That's a lot of good knowledge right there, okay? Train.